Welcome back from that short little break. As I mentioned, as I promised, we will go to the operations part of things now. This machine is designed to be easy to use on the day-to-day basis, but it's also designed to give you one of the freest setup possibilities out there on the market and in Dobstadt equipment as well. So you can fine-tune this machine to the point where you will not have anything left over to wish for. Maybe. So we take our regular E30 key like on every other machine. If the master switch is on, we can hit the ignition and our display fires up. Basically, you have three ways of interfering with that machine. You will have the fixed mounted display and switches. You have the regular, this is the big remote control. As I said, we also have a small one with just two buttons on it to activate and lower the moving hopper. I will come to the remote later. And the third way is the web page I talked about. Now, this is plain and easy to do, to use, also with gloves in every weather, and this is also indicated in a way you can't scratch that off. This will stay. As long as there's no dirt or debris above it, you will always be able to see these icons. And in order to work with the machine in a daily basis, once it is set up, you only need those three switches. The ignition via your key. Turning this to the left will reset your emergency stop. Turning this to the right starts the diesel engine, and turning this to the right will start the automatic function. And kicking the ignition key back into the 0 position will shut off the diesel. Now, this is a very easy three-step process indicated by those orange arrows. So basically you just follow the arrow to the right, to the left, to the right, to the right, and you fired up the machine, and it is in automatic mode and you can start to work. That is designed to be simple, easy to use. Beneath those first three elements, we have three more. These are basically for check-ups and adjustments. With this one, you can make your shaft turn forwards or backwards. With the middle one, you can start and stop your auxiliary hydraulics. And with this one you can make your conveyor belt turn. All three just for checking your teeth, checking your SWS, checking your belt on the conveyor or adjusting it maybe. So in day-to-day use, those are, you don't need those in the day-to-day use. On the other hand, maybe sometimes more often used are those three devices down here. With those three functions, I can fold and unfold all parts of the machine. And we have three things here. A selector switch in the middle, where I can select or choose which function I want to manipulate, and you can fold and unfold your conveyor, raise and lower your auxiliary chassis, open and close your shredder, or your shredding bay, your shredding compartment, raise and lower your hopper, and raise and lower your magnet. And then safety first, even though we are here and merely can touch anything, we have a two-hand safety steering. This is the actuator. So this is your safety switch, your dead man switch. And with that one, you give the direction of use. So for example, I will switch on the ignition. Since this machine is equipped with the electric pump. I can now, after resetting the emergency stop, select a function. I have now selected the hopper. And if I hit the safety switch, the display will show me which side of the actuator switch is used for which direction of travel. So it shows to the right is lifting this hopper, so I will have it to the right now, and the hopper rises. I let go, everything stops. The electric pump stays on for 5 seconds, automatically shuts off as it has automatically turned on when I started using the movement. On the back end, on the other hand, we can restart the safety switch, turn this to the left, and the hopper will sink down again. And I can do that with every element that can be selected right here. Two-hand steering and safety is a big feature for Doppstadt machines. All our machines have a CE on them and are compliant to the EU regulations for mobile machines. Safety, for example. We have safety shutoffs, emergency shutoffs on every corner of the machine and on the display itself. We have an emergency engine shutoff on the remote control. And one thing, for example, that is extremely important is once we hit the remote control function on the display, I can't do anything on this display anymore on the machine. I can only use the remote. And once the remote is set off, I can do anything on here, but I will not do anything. I can only manipulate the machine on this board. This is a must-have due to the machine standards of the EU. Coming back to our Argus 250 example, whoever gives the CE conformative on the Argus is in jail with 1 foot already, and as soon as somebody loses a fingernail on his machine, with the second foot as well. Since on the Argus, for example, both stages of manipulating, operating the machine constantly work. So what makes that Argus cheap is not only not giving you the reverse of a fan, but it is also saving on the safety side of things, and that is somewhere where you should never save, because if you lose some arm, anybody have damage, you will be very sad and upset about yourself that you did not spend some more money on a regular good machine that is safe to use. Okay, coming back to the display of that machine that is mounted to this machine. This is basically for display use only. So this gives you information, but it limits, or it has limited amount of interaction. On the first page we can see our diesel fuel and AdBlue amount. We can see the fill level of the hydraulic oil, and we can see the temperature of the hydraulic oil. We can set up or activate the water sprayer. We can activate our working lights. And as I said, we can activate the remote control. That's it on the first side. On the next side, you will have the option to choose program 1, 2, 3 and 4. All those 3 programs can be freely set up by you. We preset them on a value that we think makes sense for certain types of materials. But if you say, okay, I need to set something up differently, you can set those up freely via the website we will come to after the display. So in order to choose a program, you just simply click up and down, leave it on the desired program and continue. As I said, you can change the teeth the shredding system from S, M, L and XL, vice versa, all the way around. And if you've done so, you have to choose which size of teeth you have installed now. This changes parameters on the main drive pump. Those parameters are set by us. They are not selectable via the app or changeable via the app or the website. This is just changing the shaft and adjusting the pressure levels and etc. If we go to the next side, this is a bit of old school technology. We have error codes, how is it called? SPN and FMI, and then a code. And in the manual you can now select the code and translate it to a spoken word. The website will do that automatically for you. On the next page we have an error code history. A more detailed error code history is also used in the website. A given must is the working hours and also the hours remaining till the next service. And speaking of service, on the last page of that display we have our contact data for the market entry support, which will be provided during the first year of the market entry of that machine, to have a first, second level support for you as a dealer and the customer, and to have an express lane. And also its purpose is, since it is mainly run for the Methor by the development department of the Methor, its main purpose is also to get all that feedback from mishaps and malfunctions and improve our machine to the point where you can have this as a very reliable partner. Not to say that it is not from the start, of course. That's our display. Now, before we go to the web server, a quick look on the remote control. Most of you know it, our standard Terra remote control. You can basically control all the given functions, and when we are in the material later I will show you how to use that and what you can do with it during operation. Now to the web server itself. As I said, the machine hosts a wireless Wi-Fi, a wireless LAN network, where you can log on with each and every device out there. I, for example, have an iPad here, just to have it a bit better and bigger to show you. And this works like in a hotel room. You know, you get there, you find that card telling you the name and the IP address and the password, and you go to your wireless section of your device, select the wireless, which is called DW126, and then the model number or build number of the machine given. And then you take this QR code, scan it with your camera, and you will automatically connect to the website of this machine. Why do we give you a website solution? Well, there are a lot of manufacturers out there with different usages of software. Android, iOS, you name it. And if we would make an app for everyone, with every update of Android and iOS, we would have to adjust the app as well. This is a full-time job for at least 2 people, and we cannot justify that. So we use their given browser, which is adjusted to their updates all the time, and just connect to that web page the machine has. So I will do this right now. Since this is already connected, I can just jump to that page. Okay, so on that page, this is the home page, the starting point of that page. You can see both fill levels of diesel and AdBlue, also their temperature. And now we can have a detailed look on, for example, engine parameters. Those are all engine parameters you can see online while the machine is working. Since it is shut off now, this is all 0. or at least a standard value. The same is for the hydraulics. We can see the fill level, the pressure, the temperature, and we can activate and deactivate the auxiliary hydraulics. Now we can do that on the machine, so we can just plain and simply activate it. When we activate it here, we do it in the manner that if we start the automatic mode, for example, via the remote control, the machine automatically starts the auxiliary hydraulics as well. Also, even though we have a gear pump for it, we have a variable valve block behind the gear pump, so we can set up the speed of our auxiliary hydraulics individually to give you, for example, in use with the SWS, the best screening solution. So we can close that again. Down here we have hours, working hours, and the remaining hours till the next service. And here we also have trip counters, so we can see our trip time, we can reset that, we can see our trip fuel consumption, we can reset that, and maybe have a measurement on a demo. If we go out demoing, we can use those. We can let the material drop into a container. Remember, 3.5 meters drop of height, this is easily done. And we can have a live throughput and fuel consumption measurement. Now coming to the core component of this app. Okay, coming to that core component, those are the 4 programs I talked about. We have a rough suggestion on what to use it, but this is very, very brief. You can have a waste wood program function in waste, and you can have a waste program functioning in waste wood. And as I said, you can enter each and every program, and now you will see a mass of values, which I explained to all the technicians on Tuesday already, where you can fine-tune your machine. You can fine-tune the revolutions per minute of the shaft and the engine. You can set the maximum pressure. You can make the machine thereby reverse earlier or later on. You can set the time for which it should start reversing. So if you hit something hard, it can reverse for 1 second as it's set up now, 2, 10, you name it. Please remember, as soon as it has reversed once and it has to reverse a second time, it will always reverse double that amount. The lowest point on this page is, for example, an active in-feed support. This gives you the capability that when the hopper rises and the shaft has nothing to shred, which is nose because there's no pressure increase on the shaft drive, then the shaft will automatically reverse, trying to draw material out of the feeding hopper and thereby aiding the infeed of the machine and the material. Going to the next page. From here on, we have only values that manipulate that intelligent hopper I talked about. You can make it go up faster, higher, lower, slower, and especially the most important value for me is, as said, it senses the load on the shaft and stops if it is too high, or stops if it is, or continues if it is low again. This level that is set by that first value up top there. Now it sits at 150 bars, meaning that if we feed material and the machine starts to shred and the lifting hopper starts to lift and the pressure in the shaft drive exceeds 150 bars, the hopper will stand still, stop its motion. Until the shaft has shred everything up in there, the pressure in the shaft drive drops beneath 150, and then the hopper will continue upwards. Thereby I just got informed that we have to go back into the shadow since you can't see the iPad in the sun. I hope you can see it better now. And by setting this value, you can make or break the machine's performance. If you have tough material, set this low. Stop the hopper early, make the shaft shred what's in there and then continue. If you have easy material and you're not satisfied with the throughput, get that value up high and make the shaft or the hopper stop later while the shaft has already a lot to work. This is the point where you can make or break the performance. And everything beneath that is just like, where's the top position? How long should it stay up top on the top position? You can set a middle position, you can set a position in between the middle position and the top position, and you can also set various times where the hopper should stay for how long. This is basically just something to set up during operation, during a demo. And please also note, you can do whatever you like. You cannot break or harm the machine. Play around. Play around with it until you're familiar with the values and what they do. Because you will always stay inside the boundaries of the values that can break something that will harm the machine. This is intelligent enough to not make you able to destroy it with a 600 bar main drive pressure. Okay? And if you've messed it up all the way like I used to do all the time, you can go here on that little button right here and reset it to the factory value and restart your learning curve or your learning process again. Okay? So this is the adjustment of all those 4 programs. And don't be afraid with it. If you have your demo machine, spend 2 days on the customer side or in your yard shredding anything, please try that. Also what you can do is, in these programs, you can also make the machine not listen to the main drive pressure anymore. So you can disactivate the load sensing function on the hopper. Imagine shredding styrofoam. Styrofoam shredding is, there's no pressure increase on the shaft. That's like shredding a pillow. Or water or something like that. How should the machine stop the hopper going upwards if there's no pressure? The only way is to manipulate the infeed via the time. So you can also make it not listen to the pressure anymore and give it a timing function. You can set up positions and tell it, hey, stop in the middle for 10 seconds, stop 3/4 of the way for 10 seconds, stop at the top for 10 seconds. And now you can make it chew up styrofoam without overfilling the shredding bay due to the fact that the machine does not recognize any pressure and lifts the hopper up all the way at once. This takes some getting used to, yes, because it is a very fine adjustment nobody that uses Doppstadt equipment is used to, but it makes this machine so versatile. And you can shred, like I said, magnetic separator waste that is literally not shreddable or treatable with all our other machines. So besides those points, we can have one more side here. This is all the diagnosis. Your technician can diagnose everything from an iPad, his own laptop he has to use anyways, his phone, And you can use also this function to survey the machine if it has a malfunction live during the operation without having to hook up anything to it. You may recognize that there are some parts having a white line behind them and some not. Everything that has a white line on it right now is open or free to use to the customer. Beneath here we have a login, so your technician can log in. Then you have a different set of attributes, and you will have all those parts lit up with a white surrounding line, and your technician will be able to access more values and diagnosis functions like a customer does. Makes sense, we already have that function with the service stick on several other machines. Right here we also have some more setups and parameters. For example, we can choose our language. Up here, as I showed you on the display, we can also choose our teeth. And we can, for example, also set up the additional hydraulics here as we could on the first page. One last feature is that triangle warning triangle side. This tells you, as I said, the SPN and the FMI of a code, and also gives you a written word, spoken word translation of that code, meaning, for example, some numbers crunched together give you that the oil level in the main engine is low. This will automatically translate it to you, and there we have the contact data again of Doppstadt and or you as a dealer for your customers to contact in case something breaks or is dubious. Okay, this is more or less all from the operator's point of view. We will have a 5-minute break now to prepare the next step, which will be opening the shredding system, showing you how easy it is to adjust something and change it, and then after that showing you a separate shredding system, what it contains, and some more details about the shredding shaft and the shredding shaft drive. So stay tuned, 5 minutes, and we will meet back here again.